For creatures, just some messages from Spirit. Come through, Spirit, when you're ready. Messages for the collective. Starting off with Golden Palace on dusk with 4 birds up on a treetop. Maybe some of you are having some home-related issues and or trying to create yourself a palace. You know, building something from the ground up and or something you know, similar to a sacred space or a place of peace and tranquility. For some people, the Golden Palace might have a different reference depending on where you're from. We've got Rescue just come up, number 16, with a big, looks like a bowling ball nearly, but I think it's an air balloon, and a house on a floating island, it seems. I've got a few things coming through there. You know, quite often we feel like maybe we need to rescue someone or we need rescuing ourselves. Quite often those feelings of helplessness can come from, you know, having big emotions or emotions we're unfamiliar with. And, you know, they can be very overwhelming and we just shut down because we don't know how else to handle that. I've also got Coming to Life and Sad Embrace came in upside down, so I would assume that coming to life means maybe the ending of something, being that it appeared upside down, and sad embraces maybe, you know, it's the end of a sad time or a sad period or a period where you're feeling a little less than spectacular compared to your usual self, whatever that looks like. You know, just make sure you're doing your self-care and be gentle with yourself no matter what you're going through. And then we've got Wide Open, a young lady on a rock with a butterfly. She seems to be in awe of the universe there, and I'd say she's wide open to receiving communication. Intention with a white owl, wisdom, and a, what are they, from a milk thistle or something, I think, that little star thing. Most people blow on them and make wishes. So maybe be mindful of, while you're a wide open channel, be mindful of your intent, what you're intending to achieve, and be mindful of the company you keep so that, you know, you're mindful of the energies around you. Sorry, our cat is trying to chew on my tarot card basket at the moment. She's a funny little creature. You know, I don't know about your familiars, guys, but our familiars have been a little bonkers lately, so I think the energies. We've got Wishing Well with a golden, looks like a jester mask here, and a bird and some riches, and a young lady looking over her shoulder in the hills there. So, you know, maybe you guys have been putting some wishes out there. You know, if you're wide open to receiving abundance and you've been putting some wishes out there or trying to achieve some things, make sure, you know, you're in your highest vibration, and then you're focusing on what it is you want, and looks like peaks of joy. So whatever it is that you guys are putting to bed, and whatever new path you're starting up that's going to be very abundant, it's going to bring you joy. And then we've got Follow the Leader. You know, maybe some of you are following the leader, or maybe some of you are going to be required to follow the leader, which is possibly something new and maybe a little uncomfortable for most if it's not something you're used to doing. What else does collective need to know, Spirit? Have we got anything else? What more do they need to know about this Follow the Leader? Maybe they have been following the leader and, you know, they've put out some good intent and it's brought them joy, and now, or maybe they've been walking the solo path and now it's time to follow a leader. Slow and steady. Slow and steady. Take it easy. You know, Rome wasn't built in a day, also the saying goes. Pretty sure it's still an ongoing thing. We're all works in progress, you know. Love that for what it is. Love your whole self and be gentle with yourself through any times of transition, transmutation. We all have rough days. It's a rough day, not a rough life. So mountain, I'm seeing a face here. You know, a little bit dark there, shining the light on the fact that he's got his mouth open, so looks kind of in awe. Be mindful not to make molehills into mountains, and or vice versa. You know, keep an eye on things and just make sure that you're not making anything bigger than it has to be. I've got one ring circus here, which seems like I would say it fits in. You may be having some issues with this whole follow the leader biz, I'd say, and protecting your treasure. You know, there's nothing wrong with protecting your treasure. Just make sure that you are not hurting yourself and or others in doing so. What else does the collective need to know? Spirit. And you know, maybe if you're worried about your treasures, for me, I find doing a good cleanse and taking note of who I'm spending my energy around or who I'm investing my energy in sometimes comes into play. And a lot of people, obviously, that I've met over the years have various issues with trust, I myself included sometimes. You know, we all go through these periods where we have to sort of take stock and have a look at what is working and what's not working for us. Sometimes it's places, sometimes it's people, sometimes it's a mixture of both. Dragon's Lair. All of this may be an offer that looks really good but really isn't. Maybe it's just pulling you into the Dragon's Lair, unless you're a dragon whisperer or a dragon keeper. To some of you it's going to feel like home and or be home. That doesn't necessarily make it home. Home is where the heart is the old saying, and I am a firm believer in that. There's a lot of detail in this picture, most of it mainly natural, as you can tell. You know, home, naturally you'll recognize it the same as your soul tribe recognize you, and you recognize them energetically speaking. Metamorphosis. You know, maybe at home or around home there's a lot of change, a lot of transition going on. Make sure you're listening to yourself and to people around you, and make sure you're, you know, paying heed of your surroundings. Quite often the universe sends us messages making a choice. You are going to be called to make a choice. Every choice is valid, including not making one. And here we've got Stormfields. You could be a little conflicted about this choice that you have to make. It might not feel right, or you might be wondering if you're right. If you're not sure, you know, get out, do some moon meditation. We've got a really huge moon lunar event coming this month. I believe it's probably signifying that you spend some time out in the moon and out in water, found in nature. There's a sacred spot for all of us. You'll find it just as you need to, as always. Last one for the collective spirit. Rock bottom, upside down, everything will turn out all right, guys. Don't sweat the small stuff. Be gentle with yourself, and just make sure that you don't get led down the garden path by that following the leader. You know, make sure you're doing your homework. Make sure you're not ignoring your intuition. Make sure you're doing the work and doing your self-care, and I'm sure with the right intent, everything will turn out fine. Have a great day. Peace, love, and light.